Mm.
Welcome to NEWT Levels, where we're just talking about all of Harry Potter, all of our obsession, which is Harry Potter. You guys are all members of the channel, of the First Time Readers channel, so we are just going through Harry Potter chapter by chapter. And today we are going over chapter 2 of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or the Philosopher's Stone. Sorry, Becky. Uh,
Philosophers.
I don't
the
know what you're
Vanishing
talking about.
Glass.
Huh?
The Sorcerers versus the Philosopher's Stone. We're going over the Sorcerer's Stone, chapter 2, the Vanishing Glass. So, what did you guys think of this chapter? When you're rereading it and you're reviewing it for a book club, what are things that like kind of jumped out at you that you thought were really interesting?
I must say, I was thinking, what are we going to talk about? 'Cause it feels like a lot of things, not a lot of things happen actually.
I think there's a few
Um,
things that happen in this one.
But there's a lot of things that happen. So it was
Okay,
before, when I started it, I was like, there's not a lot of things happen. And then,
here's one in particular that I want to begin with. Is Piers Polkiss the illegitimate love child of Peter Pettigrew?
No.
I got his rat face.
Yeah, he's the only other character that's described as having a rat-looking face, and it's double P's.
Maybe. Poor girl, though.
I mean, the biggest thing that happens in this chapter is we find out that Harry is a Parseltongue.
Yeah.
He's a what?
A partial mouth. He can speak Parseltongue.
Now,
That's not what I heard.
Okay.
Nemo speaking Afrikaans accidentally, saying bad words or something. That's actually a discussion I want to get on with Parselmouth. How many people are actually Parselmouths in Harry Potter's universe at the time that he's in existence? Like, is it only the heir of Salazar Slytherin who are Parselmouths? Does anybody know? I'm not grilling you guys with questions. It might be.
It might be. But how many heirs are there?
I think Dumbledore could speak it too, if I'm not wrong. But I don't.
Really?
I don't think he could, because when they went back into the memories, he was asking Harry what Gaunt said, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, could be.
Yeah,
I might be wrong.
I think you're right. I never really remembered Dumbledore being able to speak Parselmouth.
Yeah, I think Voldemort was the last one.
Mm.
The last heir.
But I mean, if he couldn't speak Parseltongue, how did he understand the memory?
He didn't, but in the memory, he remembered it as like Parseltongue, and it wasn't until Harry went back and watched the memory, and he just heard him speaking English, and he was like, "Why doesn't this guy understand him?"
Yeah, no, I mean, Dumbledore, when he revisited those memories, then the consequence would be he basically didn't understand most of the conversations they had, right?
Yeah. Is that not why he...
I think he did sort of... Sorry, I don't have my English words today.
Me neither.
Is how... Even when Salazar Slytherin was in existence, Parseltongue wasn't a very common thing. Does anybody know any of the history of Parseltongue? I'm curious how many people, how they actually learned how to speak Parseltongue, or how, if it seems more of an ability that you have rather than something that you learn.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious. Yeah.
Especially what I realized this time around when I read this chapter. The snake was asleep or pretending to be asleep, and when Harry got close to him, he woke up basically. So it felt like Parselmouths kind of radiate some sort of energy that the snake can sense. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
One of the first noted Parselmouth was Harpo the Foul, who also made the first Horcrux.
Mm-hmm.
He might be sort of an ancestor of Salazar Slytherin in some way or form. Because all of the other ones that we know are descended from Slytherin.
All these Horcrux creators just speaking in parcel mouth. It's like goes hand in hand. You
Yeah,
either make them or you are one, and then you can speak it.
yeah. As Nandela said, JKR has confirmed that Dumbledore can understand but not speak Parcel tongue.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that you just know, which is why I'm jumping way ahead now to the last book. But when Ron's like, "Oh yeah, Harry speaks in his sleep. Have you never noticed?"
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if it was as simple as just being able to copy the language, then like so many more people would speak Parcel tongue. Anyway, that's not relevant to right now. But
well, so that's actually an interesting one too, because in the movies, I forget like these details in the last book, but in the last movie, when Ron gets into the chamber, he does it by recitating what, or like,
Copying.
yeah, doesn't he just copy what Harry said in his sleep, and then that's when he says Harry talked in his sleep. So
yeah,
go ahead, Becky.
well, I'm just saying, like, if it was as simple as just being able to copy what somebody is saying, because to an extent, learning a language is just copying somebody and then figuring out what you're copying and what that means. So if it was that simple, then surely just anybody could learn Parcel tongue. I don't know.
Is it just not recorded well? Like, is it such a rarity that they just haven't recorded the language? There's no like Rosetta Stone for parcel
I
mouths
suppose there's no like. I couldn't imagine it being written down because snakes don't tend to write things,
be
as
a lot of
far as
S's.
I'm aware. Maybe special snakes, I don't know. But yeah, and then I suppose they don't have recording devices.
That's
Maybe.
true.
Maybe Harry
Just
could
see
give
that
like
snake.
with his little tail. Like, I don't know. Maybe Harry could do some after school lessons.
People would definitely do something like that today. They would figure out what the snake's saying. Have you seen that dog, like Bunny the poodle or something like that can like speak because they give it all the buttons, and it has like thousands of buttons, and it uses all the buttons to say exactly what it wants. It's like pretty crazy. I'm like people would do that with a snake. They'd like finally get a snake and they'd like, have its tail jab a certain button and it would say something like, I'm saying this when I'm speaking this, something weird.
And then it will eat the puppy.
Yeah, exactly.
But do you guys have a problem with Ron speaking Parcel tongue, like, and opening it? Because opening the Chamber of Secrets, because I've listened to a couple of podcasts, and that's people's biggest issue. Not like the biggest issue of the last book, but like one of their biggest issues of the last book, saying that's like a big plot hole, and she was just trying to like rush and get. But in the book, he does say like it took him a while to get, but he also only had to say open, doesn't he? He didn't have to like say a sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
How do you feel
Ron
about
at
that?
least twice has heard Harry say open, once in the Chamber of Secrets and then also in Deathly Hallow, so I don't think it's that far-fetched.
Yeah, I also don't have a problem with it. No.
I mean, realistically, anybody that's watched the movies can speak enough Parcel tongue to open the Chamber of Secrets. But I don't know. Anyway, sorry, back to chapter 2. We'll step away from the last book and come back to chapter
No, that's
2.
the whole purpose of this is so we do deep dives into the
children.
end things. What was that, Celia?
Actually, legitimate children.
yeah, for sure. That's definitely not my least favorite change that the movies have made. There's ones that I prize much higher than that, or even that the books that the books have made. But I've never really heard that one too much before, so I feel like it makes sense to me.
Which one?
When they how they get into the Chamber of Secrets. In the last book.
That actually that we can in the movie that we can see what they do there.
Now who do you guys think is the nastiest out of Dudley, Vernon, and Petunia? Who is the nastiest one to Harry?
Vernon.
Yeah.
Vernon? Really?
Easy.
That's easy for you guys.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually fascinating.
I miss Petunia because she's actually blood relatives with him and she's nasty to him. That is then have a reason to like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess you have to think about where like the dislike and the hatred is coming from. And I'm not saying that it's right. Just because you have a reason, it doesn't make it right.
Oh yeah.
But like she's obviously got all of this, jealousy or fear or whatever. Whereas Vernon has absolutely no reason to like this infant child become like, oh, well, I suppose he's however old by this stage, but like, what's his beef?
Mm-hmm.
He just like enjoys child abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I must say, like in the rest, like in the whole series, Vernon, obviously, but like Petunia in this chapter, because firstly she makes him cook breakfast, and he's 10. Like, I mean, and you're giving that to a 10-year-old, and it's your son's birthday breakfast. I mean, that's a lot of trust you're giving this 10-year-old. And then also the story about her cutting his hair and stuff. That's just rude.
Yeah.
Cutting his hair like that with only like a bangs.
Yeah, the terrible haircut for sure. I heard I think it was Harry Potter and the Sacred Text. I think in that podcast they were talking about kind of something like this question, but one of the people who runs that, they actually gave a little bit of credit to Vernon for his not obviously in this chapter, they gave it in the next chapter when he's like protecting his family. But I think that's the only real motivation that he has. I think maybe he saw how much Petunia was struggling with this, and that's kind of why he wants to stamp it out of Harry, because he saw how it affected his wife so much. I don't really give him that much credit, if I'm being completely honest. I think Petunia is a bit more of an interesting character than Vernon. I think Petunia has a little bit more depth than Vernon. But I think Vernon is just someone that revels and enjoys legitimately like the abuse of someone that isn't his own kin, which is like pretty disgusting and pretty tragic. I don't think that he has a ton of like, I'm not that interested to get a book written from Vernon's perspective. He's probably the least on my list of people that I would want to get like the backstory from and the book from, it'd be interesting, but I don't think that he's that deep of a character.
I must say, yeah, them saying that he's protective. I always think like, okay, he might be protective, but is he also protecting mostly the image of his family to the neighbors and to the community? Or is he actually protecting his family?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there
I
are
think
multiple ways.
he is.
Go ahead.
To me, there are, I think, two scenes at least that pop into my head where he's protecting his family for sure. One is with Hagrid in the next chapter, I think, and also one when Arthur and Weasleys come to pick up Harry in the fourth book. He basically shields the whole family from him.
Yeah.
Which I think speaks to his defensive nature for his family, and I think only for his family.
Yeah, for sure. He really is only defensive because there are a few moments like, and granted, I don't think any of us would really be like Vernon, but I in those chapters, I think I was even talking with the season 1 crew. There's part of me that is like, I would be infuriated if someone just came into my house and just blew up half the things. I don't care if they could fix it right away. I don't really know that. So like, if I'm in Vernon's perspective there, it's a pretty terribly disrespecting thing to do something like that. Even like, you don't know anything about magic there. Arthur's not really explaining everything that well, but he is a little bit protective in that case, which, is understandable. More understandable than this, where he's just flat out abusing Harry,
Yeah. I think for me, the level of nastiness in the Dursley family is basically reflected quite nicely in the final goodbye of them, where Vernon is basically saying just, well, it has been, or something like that.
Yep.
And Petunia wants to say something but doesn't, and then of course Dudley is the nicest to him.
Yeah. That really is like a perfect, their character arcs are exactly what it is there. Dudley has some regrets, doesn't think he's a waste of space. And Vernon just doesn't really do anything. He's just kind of there. And Petunia is just so reserved. Petunia's backstory is really fascinating to me. that one has always kind of
Mm.
struck me a little bit as there's a lot of depth behind that. There's a lot of pain and hurt. Not it never justifies really what she's done, but there's more depth behind it than, to me, Vernon.
Yeah.
I must say, like, I did realize how much they remind me of the family in Matilda, the
Mm.
Dursleys. Like, yeah, a lot in this first chapter.
It's been a while since
It's like,
I've seen that.
And also, like, a lot of the things that happen in this chapter really explain who Harry is and why he doesn't trust adults and why he just won't ask for help before ending up in all of these predicaments when he's 11 years old.
Yeah.
And, like, it's quite clear that it's because of how the adults that have raised him have been completely untrustworthy and have no interest in anything he's trying to say.
Yep. Yeah, because that's like the
Even-
biggest thing that we say on season 1. That's where we're always like, why doesn't Harry just confide in people? Why doesn't he just? Because obviously, because he can't, because he's never really done that very well. He probably hasn't done that with anyone up until this point, and anybody that he's done that with, has probably abused him or made fun of him or chased him or whatever it is. So when he's at Hogwarts and when he's doing this, that's actually when he's like stunted, but he's growing in huge strides by even confiding in his friends for these kind of things.
I feel like this is the chapter that completely explains like all of those behaviors. It's almost like, not raising your kids properly messes them up for life.
Yeah.
I mean, the one person that actually cares about Harry in this chapter is Mrs. Fig.
Yeah.
And even she is technically lying to him.
Yeah, true.
Do you guys think that she broke her leg?
Yeah, what is that?
I think so, yeah. I think so.
Because I'm a bit wondering, like, on the one hand, she can go to a healer and they would fix it in 2 seconds. And I was wondering if she maybe just knew that the Dursleys didn't have any alternative than taking Harry with them, and she maybe wanted to do something nice for him once. And also, like, I wondered, like, if she did go to a healer, did she have to then pretend the whole time that she has a broken leg, or I don't know.
And she said she broke her leg by tripping over one of her cats, right? Is that the real reason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she has so many pet cats or measles.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely makes sense that she would trip over one of them.
Is Mrs. Fig my role model? I don't know.
The cat lady, yes.
The dream.
What's with Harry's obsession with cabbages?
Oh, it smells like
I think at least 3 times in this book it's gonna smell like cabbages, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, his Amorencia smells like cabbages.
He wants to go back to Mrs. Figs. Now, that's something interesting with Squibs. Squibs just flat out can't do magic, correct? Like, there is no tiny little trace in them that they can do magic. Because what's up with a quick spell in book 2?
That's a scam, most likely.
Yeah, for sure. It's for sure a scam. Yeah.
And it also might be for witches that are not so good at magic.
Yeah.
They buy it. Like some, that are like stronger in charms, and some are not good at potions or whatever, just to help them out. But then obviously for the squibs, it's a scam.
Doesn't one of the ads say that it's 4 squibs or something like that?
I don't think it says specifically for squibs. Because the one says that her potions were never good, but now it is. Or,
Yeah.
I don't know. It reminds me of something that you'd see on, like, a dodgy pop-up ad. Where you'd be like, oh, this product will help you.
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z.
Those sales.
You know what I mean? That sort of
like
thing.
the Wonder Mop.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wonder Mop. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like Nemo said, I think it's like a scam sort of a thing.
There's so many loud noises going on in my apartment downstairs. They're like hammering away at things, so I'm hearing all sorts of crazy stuff.
Is the aircon noise Can you hear it? Is
Uh-uh.
it making noise? Oh,
Nope.
I turned it down. So okay, I'm dying.
Everyone else is
For
like,
which of
Yeah, we're all freezing.
Dying. I've turned it down because I couldn't hear you guys because it's very noisy. So now it's like very slow. So
which
I'm
of
giving up a lot
Dudley's
of my
gifts
aircon
would
for
you
you
guys
guys.
want?
Which of Dudley's gifts?
Yeah.
Mm,
One of my favorite descriptions is that he got a 10-speed bike, but Harry's like, I
Yeah.
don't know what he would ever use it for because he doesn't really, go cycling.
I chuckled at his description of Dudley when you said like he looked like a volleyball with a
Yeah.
wig.
Pig in a wig.
Oh yeah, pig in a wig. Not volleyball. Pig in a wig. Oh, it's funny.
I think it says a
That's
beach
funny.
ball. I think that chapter 1, I think one of the descriptions of one of the or no, in the beginning of this one, I think it was like he it looks like a beach ball with like a wig or something like that. And then the same thing, a pig on a wig, was somewhere else too. Like there's so many good descriptions of Dudley. And then he's got a pig, or he's a pig with a wig, and then later he becomes a pig. That's like great little foreshadowing right there.
Yeah. Hagrid was trying to turn him completely into
Yeah.
a pig, but he failed.
Yeah.
I agree.
I can't wait for the next chapter when we talk, or 2 chapters when we talk about Hagrid and his wand. That's going to be a fun discussion, I think, because I got a theory on that one. That we'll get there in 2 weeks probably. What's the best birthday gift that you guys ever got? That's actually another question I asked the first timers, but because Dudley has 30 something gifts here, and I've never gotten that for my birthday. I've never gotten 30 something gifts. But what's the best birthday gift that you guys have ever gotten?
I got the illustrated books for my birthday
Oh yeah,
a couple of years ago.
nice. Anything Harry Potter related?
I got Legos, Harry Potter Legos.
That's
very
awesome.
easy. People usually buy like chocolates and stuff for me, so that's like normally what they buy. I've got a very like difficult birthday. My birthday is at the end of the year, so like it's usually like Christmas and birthday combined.
You just lump it in.
So.
I don't remember anything I've got for my birthday suddenly.
Yeah.
Same.
Every birthday has completely just gone right over my head.
I don't remember the last time I celebrated it.
I remember getting a doll when I was very young. Like I wanted this thing. So it was like a little doll that crawls, and which is actually creepy, but like it crawls. And I was so excited of getting this thing. And then like it literally crawled like a couple of centimeters, and my sister pulled it backwards and it broke. So that was cool for that.
For a few seconds.
It sounds like she saved you. That sounds like the creepiest thing ever. Dolls are creepy enough as it is, but to wake up and one's just like crawling at you in the middle of the night.
Imagine.
Sounds like
I'm thinking now.
What about you, John? What's your best? Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. It's like as soon as I ask that question, all thought goes out of my brain and I don't really remember. I got a few like, Lego kits were great when I was younger. I loved Legos. I still love Legos. I got all my nieces and nephews Legos purposely so that I could do them with them because they're so fun. But one time someone gave me, like, I'm kind of like Nemo. I don't really like to celebrate my birthday all that much. I'm like very low key with my birthday. I just want to, just a chill day where no one really acknowledges my birthday, and I just hang out with friends. It's like my ideal birthday. And one of my friends actually Abby did that for me once. We got like tickets for a symphony, and no one really mentioned it was my birthday, and we all went to the symphony together and just kind of hung out, had a good dinner, and it was like the best. It was one of my favorite birthdays ever. It was just chill.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Wolfric, what were you saying before?
Yeah, I think I once got a remote helicopter, like a toy, small
Mm.
remote helicopter.
Hmm.
That was really fun for the day that it lasted until I flew it into a tree and then it got completely wrecked. Yeah.
Um,
There's another mention in this chapter where they talk about the flash of green light. Um, it says sometimes when he strained his memory during long hours in a cupboard, he came up with a strange vision, a blinding flash of green light, and a burning pain on his forehead. This he supposed was a crash, so he couldn't imagine where all the green light came from. He couldn't remember his parents at all. His aunt and uncle never spoke about them. And of course, he was forbidden to ask questions. There were no photographs of them in the house. That description that there were no photographs, that Harry never had a photograph, and like the first time, so maybe one of my questions is the first time that Harry ever saw his parents at the Mirror of Erised? Because when he was there, I think he said, he asked like mom, dad, like he was questioning if that was actually his mom and dad. That's tragic if that's the first time he's ever seen them.
Yes, I think in the text it even describes that he for the first time saw his family.
Man,
Mm.
that's crushing.
oh, also, a very sad piece in that or part in that chapter is when they say there was no evidence of anyone else living there, like another boy living there in
Yeah.
that house. So like no evidence at all. Like no one could tell that Harry was also
Mm.
living in that house. That's very sad for me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Also related to
Yes.
that he isn't allowed to ask any questions. To me,
Mm.
it's just so fascinating that he became such a curious person in general
Mm.
with such a strict rule enforced in this house. Like he's very nosy, he's very curious. So yeah.
He's curious, but he doesn't ask questions.
Mm.
Yeah.
He looks for questions, but he doesn't ask them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Or
Yeah.
like
he
Mr.
goes
Asks.
around
Curiosity for years
hunting
at a
for
time.
answers.
What I mean, even just in this first chapter, if we're just isolating this first chapter alone, what do you think are like the best character qualities of Harry and what are the worst?
I must say one of the
Patience
nicest
and
things.
tolerance.
Oh,
Sorry.
what do you say?
I just said patience and tolerance, but that's all I've got. So off you go.
I must say one of the
Just
nicest
trying
things
to-
that I found when he was looking at the snake, when he was like, oh, he felt sorry for the snake because at least he gets to move around
Mm.
in the house,
Yeah.
but the snake doesn't. It's so nice. Me.
He's really compassionate. There's the line that, I mean, everyone knows this line that Sirius says. It's like, you know the mark of a person not by how they treat their superiors, but their inferiors. And I love that Harry in this moment is chilling with the snake, and he feels sorry for the snake, that the snake is like trapped in this little thing, because at least he can move around the house, and at least he can like, you know, go places. The snake is just stuck there. It's a beautiful little moment. It's like a small little moment in writing where kind of she points to Harry's compassion, and I like it. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I love his resilience. That's like the one thing that I love in this chapter so much, in that he's still like this funny kid. He still comes down. He still like sees his this is when he sees his school stuff, right? Like, oh no, I think that's the next chapter.
Next chapter.
Yeah, it's the next chapter. But he's just like funny. He's still like a cool kid. He's like, you know, trying to stay alive, but he still has sass. He still is like very resilient toward everything that's happened to him still. I think it's one of his best qualities.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
think
the
of a
fact that
bad
Harry-
one though.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't get
That's
to say
no
that.
fault.
Well, I don't think he has. I think the only bad ones are the ones that are forced upon him. Like his I don't think he has like maybe a lack of ability to communicate, but you can definitely see, because of the way he's been treated, how it will affect his future in the next books. And obviously we've all read the book, so we like know that it plays a huge part. But even in this chapter alone, if you're taking guesses on what things that Harry is going to struggle with, it's probably going to be communication. It's probably going to be trust. It's probably going to be like really being able to open up to other people, and like, you know, yeah, I think those are some of the things that, again, wanting to do everything on his own. He's very like independent, which is great. But those are some of the things that I think he really
Also-
struggles with.
Also, his kind of judgmental views or perspective. As soon as he doesn't like someone, he describes them describes their physique quite negatively.
Yeah.
And I think he got that from the judgment he has seen, like Vernon or whatever, during the whole 10 years that he's been there, being basically passed on to him.
Yeah, that's actually a great point.
10 though.
What'd you say?
He's like 10 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, kids can be like very honest
Yeah, for
with that
sure.
stuff. So I can
Yeah.
understand why he would describe that. Like,
Well, it's
in the
kind of
beginning.
suspicious that it's like usually only Slytherins that he describes like nastily.
Yeah. It's the Slytherins and then Dudley and then Piers.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ooh, that's an interesting question. If Dudley was a witch, or if he was a wizard, what house would he be sorted into?
Hufflepuff.
I was
Hey,
literally going to say
come
that.
on.
Yeah.
We don't want him. Can
I
we take him back? Does the house have a choice in it?
No, he
No.
would have better company, and then he'll probably mature faster.
Yeah, that's actually kind of true. Loyalty.
If you think about like the difference in the very last book, I know it was only a small thing, but for him to be raised with those parents and to still have enough compassion to leave Harry a cup of tea,
Mm,
I mean, that's pretty incredible.
yeah,
He had no hope,
yeah, for real.
and then hope happened. So
Yeah, I kind of like that. His character arc is one of my not one of my favorites, but I really really do love it. And that he was such a jackass, and then all of a sudden he's like saying Harry's not a waste of space, which is making his parents' jaws drop. They're like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe you said that." And Harry's even like, "To Dudley, that's like I love you," you know?
Petunia's crying
Yeah,
like
I
it's
know.
a whole moment.
It's so funny. What houses would if Petunia was actually able to go, what house would Petunia be sorted into?
Based on her young nature, or what, should probably be a Slytherin.
Mm.
Interesting.
Or the
She was
Ravenclaw.
very ambitious. She wanted to go to the school
Yeah, for sure.
and stuff like that.
But also very much a rule follower, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking Ravenclaw for her a little bit.
Slytherin, I think.
What else did you guys see in this chapter? Anything else that like stuck out to you?
Oh, it made me want
Vernon-
ice cream.
Yeah. Didn't really know what a Knickerbocker glory was until Becky graciously
Google
let
that.
me
I
know
didn't
that
know.
people eat them all the time in
looks
England.
Love a Knickerbocker glory.
Oh, that looks amazing. I was like, yes. Oh, and I like that Harry actually likes his scar in
Yeah.
this chapter. It's like that's his favorite thing,
Yeah.
which was good.
That's really special for a kid because, like, a lot of the time kids are so insecure about things that are different about them.
Mm.
And then, especially when he's been berated for like everything that's different about him, for him to be proud of like physical scar is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's
Oh, and another sad part is where Harry says at school he had no one
yeah.
because everyone was too scared of Dudley. Oh, and I love the ways that he that weird. Whatever. Is that the next chapter? Weird things happened.
No, that was this one.
Is that
No, that's one.
Yeah.
It's this one.
Uh, yeah? So yeah, that's also funny. Like, oh, I can just imagine him running with those big clothes and then like jumping over. Oh, that's funny.
Did you guys ever climb onto the roofs of your schools?
What was that?
Did we?
Actually,
Did you guys climb onto the roofs of your schools?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Oh,
yeah.
oh no.
Yeah.
Our
We
schools
used
are
to
like
sunbathe
3
on
stories.
the-
Our schools are like 3 stories high, or like our high school
Wow.
was. So no. And then we used to climb on our, like when we visited friends, we used to climb on the houses, like the roofs of the houses a lot.
Yeah.
We all got caught
We
once
had,
because we
like-
had like 20. There was like one time we were like, hey, let's get like half of our class up here. So like, you know, there's 20, 30 people climbing up on these roofs, and we had like 20 to 30 people just running around on the roof. And it was really dangerous. It was pretty high up, so we probably could have fallen off and hurt ourselves, but no one did. But we got reamed out. All got detentions. It was bad.
Yeah, we used to climb up there quite often because of the soccer balls.
Oh, yeah.
Basically being shot up there, and you need to get them back. It's quite fun.
We had it like with the girls' dorms was like 2 stories, and when I was in my 5th and 6th year, or 4th and 5th year, I was on the top and we had a skylight. So if you opened up the skylight, you could literally just climb onto the roof. So we'd do
Nice.
that. But we did it around the back of the building, because if you went around the front of the dorms, then literally everybody would see you and you get in trouble. So sneak on the roof.
So that would be the most private space there.
Mm.
The most private space in the boarding school would be there on the roof.
On the roof, yeah.
On the roof of the girls' dorms. You couldn't do it on the roof of the boys' dorms because that was a really tall building, but
Yeah.
That's insane.
wasn't like Harry Potter. We were kept separately
Mm.
for understandable reasons.
Anything else in this chapter you guys saw?
Just that Vernon changes his cars quite quickly. He got this car recently. He said it's a new car, and we know that next book he's already going to have a new car again.
What do you think the wealth of the Dursleys is? How much are they making? How much is...
Selling those
Ooh.
drills.
I know.
Is it like is it industrial drills or is it like hand drills?
It's a great question. I don't know.
I think maybe
I would think
industrial.
it's industrial
Yeah.
because of the masons.
Yeah.
I was just thinking. She was thinking, what boring job can I give him?
Yeah. Really.
Drills.
I think that's probably what it was. I think it sounds like the most boring job ever.
Oh.
I had a
Maybe
teacher
it's just a
once.
fun.
I had a teacher once who just hated the word drills because she hated the dentist so much. So anytime like someone would say I went to the dentist and like they had to drill my teeth, she would like go queasy and like couldn't even listen. So maybe that's why. Maybe she had such a hatred for drills. She's like, it's such a boring job. I'll just give her a really boring job, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure they
I
probably
would
make a
think
good
he
amount of
was-
money though.
Yeah, I think he would make like maybe 150K per year.
Yeah. I was thinking around there too.
Okay.
What is Becky? What is the British opinion of Surrey? Is there like
Like, I think it's somewhat like middle class. I don't know, because
Okay.
that's a bit further south than where I am, but it's like, it's a London suburb, so you could imagine that it is like fairly posh.
yeah.
But like based on the type of house that they've got and where they live, you could imagine they were sort of middle class. So not like so not like working class. But also not doing I'd probably describe them as comfortable.
Mm.
And like based on what we know about them, they live in a 1, 2, 3 bedroomed house.
Mhm.
So average. But then they go on holiday in Mallorca, which is like where everybody goes on holiday, like whether you've got money or not. Like everybody in the UK holidays in Mallorca. It's where you go when you're like gal's holiday, your lad's holiday when you're like 18, and it's where you go with your whole family. So I feel like they've been designed to be pretty like classless in the books. I don't know. I know that's not giving any helpful answer whatsoever.
No.
I've basically just said, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like added words around it to make it sound like I know what I'm talking
I
about.
think she's just saying. I think she's essentially saying, yeah, she's trying to make them the most boring as possible. I don't think they make a ton of money because if they made too much money, they'd probably be a little bit boring. But I just think, or they probably wouldn't be as boring. But I just think she's like, let's make them complete, middle class, living in like a boring suburb of London. Like, let's just make them. He works in drills. They don't care anything about. They want to stamp out magic.
It's actually a good point. It makes sense with the Majorca thing because, like,
Mm.
you know, with them going on holiday there. Yeah, that is like the most boring place to go on holiday if you live in the UK. It's just where everybody goes. So
And
yeah,
and they want a
I think,
holiday
yeah, it really
home,
makes.
right?
Sorry?
Didn't they say they wanted a holiday home? Because they weren't they gonna like buy a house in Mallorca or something like that?
Yeah.
I think that's in book
Yeah.
2.
No, I think they
Majorca
want
is
to.
full of like British people,
Mm.
full of Dursleys. But yeah, no, it makes sense for it to just make them sort of classless, like just standard run of the mill family.
Yeah, I think because she had to make them very boring and very quickly, and then also make us hate them very quickly. Because I mean, the book is not that long, so, and we only get like the first couple of chapters in each book with
Yeah.
them, and yeah. So yeah, we need to like Harry immediately. So yeah, I think she did that.
It is still remarkable that you start each book off with the Dursleys, and it's like depressing and it's sad, but I still want to read the beginning of every book. I still love the beginning of every book. Do any of you guys skip? Like, if you guys are doing a reread, do any of you guys skip around certain sections? Like, I know some
No,
people
never.
don't read book 1 and 2 because they just want to get to 3. I know some people that they skip, like, you know, the Grop chapters or whatever.
That's the only chapter I ever skip is Hagrid's Tale
Really?
in book 5. That's the only chapter I ever skip, just because it's difficult for me to read because of the way
I
it's all.
I just reread some books more than others, but
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes I just start from the third one.
Mm.
Sometimes
also
I
the
just
read.
skip the second book.
Yes, skip the second.
Sometimes I just skip the second, yeah.
Yeah.
Or I'll start
Mhm.
listening because I listen rather than read. And I'll just start listening to it and going, I am not excited about this, like in any way at all. Like, and I get it's got like, you know, readability and stuff, but it just doesn't get me excited in the same way as starting the other books.
Yeah, for sure. I'm the same.
Yeah.
And I love the first few chapters of every book.
Yeah,
I know
me
people
too.
are like, oh, I just want them to
Yeah.
get to Hogwarts. I love them.
Yeah, me too.
Love them as well. I love how just the interesting way of how she gets Harry away from them every year is the interesting part. Like she had to change it up every year. Yeah, so I like that as well. It's very funny to me.
Yeah. I think it's because, like, as you guys know, I don't really like fantasy. But the fact that it starts outside of the magical world is like my point, like my grounding point to be like, right, this is the universe I'm in. And then having him escape to his own universe. So then it's like, I don't know, I've been grounded in the real world and then whisked away with him. And that's how I bypass the whole not liking fantasy.
It's definitely like more accessible fantasy. It's not like you're off into like the land of Middle Earth with orcs and elves, and you know, this is a bit more accessible.
It's like literally like Harry is holding my hand and like leading me to Hogwarts, and then I'm there.
Anything else? Do you guys see anything else in this chapter? Any other last things?
I have one last thing that I saw that I was curious about what you guys would say, and that it's that the Dursleys, I think, favor brandy as their drink of choice. Because also Marge loves brandy, I think. And I was wondering, what's your drink of choice?
How much
For me,
time do
it
you
would be Scotch.
Here comes the South African.
Lately, I've been really enjoying port.
Are you 80 years old?
Yeah, pretty much. I am very much an old soul. It's delicious. It's so good. I just like, you know, I just chill there and have some port. It's so good. Come on.
when I was a child and whenever I'd get sick, I was raised by 2 doctors, right? But whenever I'd get sick as a child, they'd give me port with hot water and sugar in it. And that was how they'd cure me. Like, so I've been put off port for life because, like, as a child, would
We used to do
as a child, I'd be drinking it like, this is awful. This sounds like child abuse. I'm sure they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
They were doctors. But like, so now I just hate port because it just reminds me of being sick as a child.
That's sad.
I'm basically just been drank up so that I go to sleep.
Okay, so
Reminds
it
me a bit of
depends on
hot toddy.
Sorry?
Hot toddy, which is something
Are
I
you
recently
80s?
I recently discovered it, and I love it.
So it depends on the season. Summer is a good dry brut, and then or a gin and tonic, or a good craft beer, and then winter is red wine. Although I like red wine in the summer as well, but like a braai and red wine. We've got a lot of nice wine farms, so we do wine tasting all the time. So I find a new favorite all the time. So, but I don't drink. So like a South African thing is to drink brandy and Coke. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's like the commoners drink.
Really,
No, I can't say
brandy
that.
and Coke? We got America. It's like rum and Coke. That's like the commoners.
Rum is also a thing, but brandy and Coke is also a thing.
Mm.
Yeah. And the guys usually say like if they drink a lot, that makes them fucked. Bar fights. But that's like a thing. And like so every restaurant will have like a brandy special or a so stuff like that. But yeah, we do got some nice wines and stuff. Yeah, so it depends.
We just finished
for me,
watching
it's
Blue Eye
a
Samurai, and
stretch.
I've really wanted some sake now. So I was like, I might just swing
Oh.
over and get some sake, get some warm sake.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
I used to work for a Japanese company, and like they used to give like us presents like sake. Oh, it was so nice. Like good ones, like really good ones.
Yeah.
Now I want to drink.
Yeah, we'll end this on a drink. Any last tidbits before we end? This was a.
Oh, I want
Yeah, go ahead.
questions.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so it's more of like a series overview. Are you ready? A series overview. Okay, so if you could see all the spells that we saw in the book, like either Harry performing them or him seeing the stuff, but like any spell that we didn't get to see being performed or whatever in the book, which one would you like to see? A bad one and a good one.
So ones that are in the books that we didn't get to see in the movies.
No, that's not in the books.
Oh,
or like
yeah.
it's mentioned, but like Harry didn't experience it. Like for example, how to make Horcrux.
From what I've heard, that's a pretty disturbing process. So I actually don't even know if I want to know.
Yeah.
Apparently,
No,
it's like so messed up.
The one spell that fascinates me the most is the one purple spell that Augustus Rookwood, Rookwood shoots at Hermione. Yeah, that is like, yeah.
There was another mention of something purple that I think Hermione did.
With when they apparated to the.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, there was like a flash of purple or something like that. And I was like, is that the same kind of thing? Yeah, that purple spell always was interesting to me. I never knew what that was.
Because even without speaking it, he was able to do a ton of damage. So I wonder what him speaking it would do.
Yeah. That's a fascinating
I think I would have. I don't know if I would like to see it, but like I think would have been quite interesting is how did Nagini get into Bathilda? Like,
I was just thinking that.
It is such a creepy chapter. Oh my gosh. We just finished reading that one, and that is like one of the creepiest chapters I've ever read. And it's probably maybe the creepiest in Harry Potter.
And a good one? Good spell?
The Fidelius would be interesting.
Yeah.
That was my choice as well.
There's also an anti-fiend fire. What is it called? Yeah, that is also a very interesting spell.
Anti-fiend fire.
Yeah.
So what does it do? You know?
Gets rid of fiend fire, I'd say.
Just like what?
I didn't mean that to sound so sassy. I'd say did we? Is there an answer? I thought the feed fire like had no thing that could get rid of it. Is there?
I think so, but I think I remember reading it somewhere. I don't remember where.
I mean,
Maybe the
honestly, I
damage
trust your
caused
memory
by
more
it
than
can't be fixed. But like when it's happening, you can block it. Or I don't know.
mine.
And the other one for me would be the gong-like spell from Dumbledore.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah,
That's
that
a
was
good
a
one.
really that was a
Love
sick moment in the books. Such an interesting tidbit. I
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah,
mind
yeah.
seeing the Blood Pact either. Even some of the stuff that Fantastic Beasts do, even though it's not necessarily like, you know, original canon. A Blood Pact seems really fascinating to me. But what is actually involved in a Blood Pact? Like seeing the actual magic behind it. Yeah.
You can do one with Danny. He's also not interested in blood.
Yeah. Any business deals that we have, me and Danny we're gonna start this business together. All right, Danny, let's do a blood pact. We can't attack each other, can't sue each other.
Okay, and then my second question, I've got two questions actually. So if you could spend a day with any Harry Potter character, one dead one, and one and one that's still alive by the end of the series, which one would you choose? I stole this from Bench Mode though, so I didn't think of this.
Such a good question.
Honestly, would Professor Binns count?
You would count for both of them?
Because he knows a lot. He may be boring, but he knows a lot. Same as Florian Fortescue.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ice cream.
Think of the brain freeze you'd have by the end of the day if you were just spending time with Florian Fortescue.
In both
Sugar
ways.
ups the brain freeze.
That's a good question. My first thought was just Lupin. I really love Lupin. He's like one of my favorites. Bring back Lupin and Tonks. That'd be so great.
I feel like I'd want to spend longer with them. Like, if you've got a day, I feel like it would be somebody that you want to get like information out of.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I just want to be friends with Tonks and Lupin.
Yeah.
Like, there's no information. I just want to go and like have a drink, have like a fun day out.
Yeah, that's what I would want to spend my day with though. Like whenever someone asks me that question of just like a random person in human history, I always just say my grandma, because she died when I was young, and I just was like, she was the coolest lady ever, and I'm like, I just want to spend a day with her. I don't. Nah, that's probably a little bit different. That's like a life question, so not. This is like Harry Potter specific, so I'm like trying to pertain or get some information out of someone. But I still think Lupin would be a fascinating one. I think he would have some good stories and good like information, at least on the Marauders, and at least on like what Harry went through, or what his parents kind of went through, like their relationship. I still think there's some interesting information there. Like even his time away with the werewolves. That's like he's probably got some good stories stored up there.
I was connected to that. My date person is James actually. So yeah, I would like to get to know him actually, to see what kind of guy he actually was. Maybe him and Lily together to see how their relationship was.
Yeah, Lily would be a good one.
Yeah.
Honestly, a living person, I just keep thinking of Slughorn for some reason. I think he would be fascinating. I know it's like a little crazy.
Establishing connections, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I feel like he knows everyone, so he'd be a great person for information.
Well, I'd say Hagrid, and he could introduce me to all the magical beasts and magical creatures.
I like that one.
Nah, I would rather stay away from creatures.
Well, mine is Molly. I think I would like.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one. But the thing is, you won't want to leave after
I
a
know,
day.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
she'd cook you some
you'd
killer
need longer.
meals. Yeah. Molly's
I think for me,
she was back in the goodie
it
bag.
would be Bill.
Bill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. to see like the
And I
corresponding
cannot.
stuff that he does.
Yeah.
Okay, but then Flair mustn't be there. Just Phil.
Yeah. That's a whole different question we're asking. What person?
Yeah.
not a day with. What person would you want to spend a night with?
Yeah, I was just because I would all like spend the night.
How PG is this?
Well, you're the only one that swore so far.
I know. That's right. It's off the table. You guys can do whatever. It's relaxed. It's a great question though. I love questions like that. One of my favorite questions that they asked in binge mode that I think about all the time. They did this, I think, on it might have been on the Marvel series that they did, but they ask what Marvel characters you'd want to put in your Quidditch starting lineup. And it was such a fascinating discussion. And I think about that all the time. I'm like, what Marvel characters would my Quidditch team be? Or like if you could put together an all-time Quidditch team from Hogwarts, who would be your starting 7?
Okay, is it a realistic one or like actually how JK writes it? Because then Harry, of course, because he never loses.
Yeah. But are you picking Harry over Crumb as Seeker? That's a question.
Crumb would definitely be, because he has the international sort of experience, which Harry does not.
Yeah.
I would even pick Ginny because well, she goes on to play for the Holyhead Harpies.
Yep.
As a chaser though. She's not
as a chaser, not as a seeker.
I love the Quidditch
Maybe
chapters.
Crumb can be a chaser as well.
I know. I feel like Crumb could be versatile. I think Harry could be pretty versatile too. Swap positions.
No, I don't think Harry is. Like, he's single-minded. Look for the snitch. Don't do anything.
And he doesn't work well as a team. And as a seeker, you don't really need to work well as a team. You just do your own thing and everybody revolves around you. That's suited to Harry to a T. Harry doesn't give a shit what anyone else is doing.
Yeah. That is the truth. It's a perfect position for him. Absolutely perfect.
It's literally, the game revolves around him. Perfect.
Yeah.
We have George and George as Peters.
Yeah. Honestly. They were great.
Are we just gonna name the full like Gryffindor team? We're like, this is
I was gonna say Oliver Wood would be a great keeper too. He's like my favorite keeper. He was one of my favorite characters in the first few books. I loved him so much.
I loved him.
Yeah.
When I saw his name in the last book, I was like,
yeah, I know. It's great.
And then he like carries a body, so then I wasn't so happy to see him the second time.
Yeah, it's a fun question. Anyway,
I feel like I don't know enough about sports to contribute to that question.
Come on, guys, haven't you read the Quidditch chapters? They're like the best chapters in the book.
Okay,
even
next time
I'll starting 7, I was like, I don't even know what that means.
Next time I'll read up on Quidditch through the ages, and then
exactly.
I think Quidditch is the sport I know most about. So. Just sad.
All right, guys, this is a pleasure. We're gonna keep plotting away. We got our next chapter is the letters from Noah in chapter 3. So we'll do that next week, and we'll just keep plugging away. So thanks for joining.
Great.
Thanks.